You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
Up next on Focal Point, Community Solar is coming to Lansing. Find out how you can be a part of this coming project.
Find out how firefighter turned bakery owner is making some dough.
Also, we spoke with students who were forced from their apartments with just a day's notice. We'll tell you why. Focal Point starts now.
It was a nightmare turned reality at Abbott Manor last week when students were abruptly forced from their apartments due to unsafe living conditions. Good evening, I'm Ariel Ellis.
And I'm Connor Hansen. Welcome to Focal Point. Residents are still unpacking their things, trying to understand how their apartments became unlivable.
Furniture that we have here, and most of our electronics and stuff are in these boxes. Just like living room stuff are in these boxes.
It's been just over a week since Samira Mashney was told to move out of her apartment at Abbott Manor, and she's still tunneling through stacks of boxes in her new one.
This apartment is way smaller than what we originally signed up for at Abbott Manor, so we kind of had a lot of stuff.
And students like Samira came back to their apartment to find this notice telling them that it was time to move out because of mold, buckling floors, and caving ceilings.
It would like shake, there were dips in the ceiling.
Westpac, the company that owns the building, moved most of their tenants to the Rocks, which is also owned by Westpac. But after all of the problems, Samira chose to go with another company. 3 different apartments in how many days?
2, 3 days? I would say 2 days.
Around 11:30 the following day on Wednesday, I got a phone call saying that we had to be out by 5 p.m. That day.
Jordan Kopp lived on the 2nd floor of the building and wishes Westpac had done a better job of communicating.
I would say they need to be a little bit more proactive and more communicative to the residents at Abbott Manor, as in we haven't gotten much information from them on what happened.
Now many of the students are planning to file a lawsuit against the company.
On the 3rd floor, there's a girl who had her room covered in pots and pans from leaks. There's probably 15, 20 pots and pans just trying to collect water in her apartment alone.
But for now, students will just have to take the cardboard they were dealt. Property owners released a statement apologizing for the incident, saying they're doing everything they can do to fix it.
Looking to cut down on energy costs? The Lansing Board of Water and Light is taking a step towards renewable energy by implementing a solar panel program. Focal Point's Brett Cass talks about how you can get involved.
With energy prices rising and constant concern for the environment, many people are finding new ways to supplement their energy needs.
It comes into the inverter in the corner of the garage.
John Sarver is on the Meridian Township Environmental Commission and a member of the township's energy team. And in 2010, he installed a solar panel on the roof of his home.
You have to have a good site, obviously. You have to have a southern orientation.
The power produced by the panel covers about 20% of Sarver's electric bill, but that wasn't the only reason behind the project.
So obviously I wanted to save money, and it's good for the environment too, which was a major reason for me.
So you can step back. You might have to step maybe across this way.
John Kinch is the executive director of Michigan Energy Options, a nonprofit energy organization that also installed solar panels and even a solar roof on their East Lansing office.
We have to take some responsibility ourselves as consumers to be part of the solution, not just part of the problems.
Not all homes and businesses have great sightlines for solar panels, so Michigan Energy Options is teaming up with the Lansing Board of Water and Light to bring a community solar program to East Lansing in Bertram Park.
We're only taking up about 1 acre of the space there out of a 24-acre parcel.
Customers of the Lansing Board of Water and Light are able to lease a panel for a flat rate of $399 for 25 years. Customers will have their accounts credited for the amount of power that panel produces, creating what Kinch believes is a smart investment.
We estimate that the payback period for a customer in this project is about a dozen years. They're going to be getting kind of free energy for the next 13 years, which is a pretty good deal.
Unfortunately for Sarver, the project is only available to customers of the Lansing Board of Water and Light, but that won't stop him from being a part of the new community.
As a donation, I interested in making a commitment for a panel for Michigan Energy Options.
And with more and more panels being leased, construction for the project is on the horizon. In East Lansing, Brett Cast, Focal Point News.
So far, there are about 600 committed to purchasing panels. Construction will begin when they have commitments from about 800 homeowners.
Some of East Lansing's blighted eyesores may soon be out of sight. After being unoccupied for nearly a decade, what has been referred to as the Little Bank located on the corner of Abbott and Albert is finally up for demolition. The building will be undergoing asbestos removal and is expected to be torn down by early July. The area where the building stands will be used to widen Albert Street. Over the past decade, plans have failed to move forward with demolishing all the vacant buildings in the Park District at once. So the city has decided to focus on just one building in the Park District with hopes of making some progress to rid the city of the blight on Abbott and Albert.
I think that residents are probably tired of waiting and seeing an old vacant building there. So if we can do our part, take it down, and then hopefully have the buildings around it that are also vacant taken down, I think that will show some good progress.
You received 2 grants, one at $99,000 and another at $36,000 to move forward with the demolition. The city will be holding hearings in the near future to have the surrounding privately owned buildings in the Park District demolished.
After some lengthy delays, Whole Foods will finally open on April 13th in Meridian Township. The store, which has been in the works for a couple of years now, will open on Grand River near Park Lake Drive. The national chain features organic groceries plus hot meals like pizza and sandwiches. Along with the standard fresh fare, the store will have a cafe along with a bar and grill. Those living in the area have been waiting patiently for the store's grand opening.
Excited. We're so excited to be part of the East Lansing community, and we've been just so overwhelmed with the wonderful greetings we receive from the community.
Once again, the Whole Foods grand opening is April 13th, and prizes will be given away to the first 100 people in line. The Michigan Department of Technology, Management and Budget won the Mail Innovation Award for the United States Postal Service. The award recognizes postal customers who are innovative with their mailing solutions. The DTMB has been using an automated mail tracking system that has saved customers nearly $7 million over the past 3 years.
We all hate paying more at the pump, and with gas prices lower than they've been in recent years, many often wonder why the price changes so much. Focal Point's Kate Cooney talks with experts on why prices are so low now and how much gas station owners really make off a gallon of gas.
When gas prices are low, drivers are all smiles at the pump.
When they went down, over the past couple of months, I definitely started driving home a lot more.
It's okay, it's not $4.
But the $4 a gallon days are still looming in some people's minds.
And then I've commuted since my junior year.
Rose Palmeter started commuting to campus to save money. But when gas prices were higher, she sometimes had to make tough choices.
So junior year, it affected me more. The gas prices were higher. And it was more of I just sacrificed my social life.
Many believe that gas companies fix the price, but that's not necessarily the case.
So a lot of times people say, oh, the price at the pump, those oil companies are making all this money. Well, no.
On average, gas companies only earn about 2 cents per gallon on every purchase.
They say the average gas station makes about $22,000 a year off the sale of gas.
So what factors cause these price fluctuations?
So many. If I knew them all, I'd make a lot of money.
Stephen Miller is an assistant professor at Michigan State University who studies economic and policy issues.
OPEC in general has increased output, and partially it seems to be kind of a tit-for-tat type of a maneuver trying to gain market share.
But just because there's more gas in the market now doesn't mean it will always be that way.
Of course, it is a non-renewable resource, so I wouldn't ever call it a surplus in general.
And for Melina Von Baron, that fact is enough for her to think about making a change when she buys her next car.
When I can afford an electric car someday, I'll probably do that.
In East Lansing, Kit Cooney, Focal Point News.
The Michigan Petroleum Association says drivers can get the best deals at the pump by buying early in the week.
The red carpet was rolled out on Wednesday for opening night of the 6th annual Capital City Film Festival. It was a packed house at the Lansing Center, where families from all over the area came out to see the Lansing Symphony perform Disney in concert. Disney movies like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs were projected on the big screen as the orchestra played music from the film.
So I thought this would be really fun to come and see it live, and it was really great. You can tell they put a lot of work into it. It's got to be difficult to do the sound effects along live with the cartoon itself, so it turned out really well.
The film fest will be running through April 10th. Upcoming events include Adderall Diaries, Peanut Butter Wolf, and many more films throughout the weekend. Students' phones have been buzzing more than usual this week with text alerts from MSU's emergency system.
Also see how a firefighter has turned his love for baking into his very own business. That story after the break.
When do we give up? When do we just close our eyes and say, that's it? This water's too polluted. This disease too far along. To a Spartan, the answer is simple. Never. Because Michigan State was founded on the belief that our purpose is to make the world a better place. And when you're open to unconventional thinking, value people's differences, and are willing to forge true partnerships, then and only then can you solve the world's toughest problems. Like renewable energy, clean water, and Parkinson's disease. Because we know our true triumph lies in the impact we make on the world around us. And after all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
A local bakery is making a name for itself with some unusual types of donuts. Focal Point's Kelsey Banis takes us behind the counter at one of Lansing's hidden gems.
You know, that's kind of your fun part here.
Pete Counselor loves donuts.
Trained as a paramedic and firefighter, and that's what I've done really for the last 22 years. About 2 years ago, fell and blew out a shoulder, ruptured Achilles.
Little did Counselor, owner, and executive chef know his previous culinary training would come back to use.
I always enjoyed cooking at the fire department and always enjoyed baking as well, and that's kind of when I got the idea for donuts.
Counselor took his passion and came up with a different idea to set him apart from others.
Long night at the fire department with a bunch of MSU students, and I felt they were all kind of glazed and confused.
Counselor wasn't impressed with other donut places and decided to spend 9 months handing out donuts for free to test out his idea before opening.
We've been really fortunate. I think we've worked really, really hard to make sure that we've delivered great product. We do everything from scratch.
Not even open for a year, Counselor prides himself on donuts a bit out of the ordinary, from creme brulee to a maple bacon bar.
Before I opened, literally they'd come to me in my sleep. Most people don't even love their only career in their life, let alone love 2 careers in their life, and I really am very fortunate.
In Lansing,
You get you a blueberry donut.
Kelsey Banis, Focal Point News.
Well, those donuts do look good. I think we all just wish Kelsey brought some back for us in the newsroom.
They definitely do look amazing. Campus might see some changes with the upcoming ASMSU elections.
Plus, students have gotten an unusual amount of alerts this week. Focal Point's Matt Miller joins us now to tell us what's going on the on-campus report.
Thanks, Connor. This week, students received several text alerts for hazardous issues on campus. A chemical spill near the power plant forced Service Road to close for about an hour on Tuesday. About 800 gallons of sulfuric acid was spilled from a tanker inside this TB Simon power plant, which closed down the surrounding areas. Most of the spill was contained and no injuries were reported. Service Road was reopened within an hour of the incident and most of the plant workers were sent home. There's also a fire at the surplus store and a power outage this week. Many have found the text messages useful, and the university is expanding their efforts to keep campus safe as they are releasing new software that allows alerts to appear on both personal and university desktops. The system will be tested next week. And the presidential primaries have come and gone in Michigan, but this week the focus is on the Michigan State student government elections. Focal Point's Daniel Hamburg tells us what ASMSU is doing to try to increase voter turnout.
It's supposed to be the voice of the student body. Many students know what ASMSU stands for, but not what they do.
Associated Students of Michigan State University, but other than that, I don't know exactly what they do on campus.
That poses a problem trying to get students to vote on campus.
A little bit more eye-catching.
Assistant Director of Marketing Sophia Wright says ASMSU has been working to make themselves more well-known.
Making students aware that they do pay this tax money, and not only that they pay it, but they do receive benefits because of it, and they do have the chance to have like a say in the college and that kind of thing.
But ASMSU tells us last year only 3% of nearly 50,000 students cast a vote.
I know they're doing elections right now, but I don't know exactly who's running, so.
ASMSU Director of Public Relations Sam Noss says with so few people voting, your vote does count.
One of the hardest things about getting people to vote in general, whether it's student elections or it's elections for president,
is just getting them out there to do that. So what we've actually done is given students the ability to vote online.
I do think it's important for them to vote because they give the student body a voice on subjects that are important to us.
Those on student council and in ASMSU help make decisions within colleges, allocate money to student groups, offer free iClickers and Blue Books, and even free legal advice.
So I think that there's a lot of value that they add to the campus. It's just a matter of if students take advantage of it or not.
Spread the word, vote, and we'll do our best to represent you the best way we can.
In East Lansing, Daniel Hamburg, Focal Point News.
ASMSU officials tell us they have had more participation as of Tuesday than last year's election. Voting online is available through this Sunday, April 10th. Sparty might need a new set of wheels. Earlier this week, his famed golf cart was stolen and found at the bottom of the Red Cedar. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Michigan State University Police. As a reward for the information, the MSU Alumni Association is offering 2 Lower Bowl football tickets and a $1,000 donation to a student organization. An influential journalism figure and MSU alum will be greatly missed. Dick Millman died last week from suffering a stroke. He spent many years as a reporter and eventually owned nearly 30 newspapers in Michigan. Millman was elected into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame in 1994. He was 89 years old. Concussions have ended the careers of many professional athletes, but a couple MSU professors are developing new technology that can help detect head injuries sooner. Focal Point's Ariel Ellis shows us how this can impact athletes all over the world.
Concussions are serious injuries and can be deadly if undetected.
We were looking for simple detection methodology.
MSU chemistry professors Gary Blanchard and Marcos Dantas together have created impact detecting headbands to help identify concussions.
Our goal in this whole process has been to provide simple, intuitive means that a parent or a coach could use to determine whether one of their players or their children would possibly be in need of medical examination.
The first prototype was created July 2015.
We had some very ugly prototypes.
And since then, have created 200 prototypes.
There were some that looked like a porcupine with all sorts of sensors sticking out.
Yes, sir. Ball in the pad. But their most recent design is one that will fit comfortably inside of a helmet, a headband, with small sensing strips inside. Safe hits leave the strip bare, but if you're hit hard enough,
then I would see a circle, and even harder, enough to shake the brain and maybe get close to causing a concussion, then it shows stars. As soon as I get hit and I don't feel so well, then the coach, head athletic trainer, neurologist, or the parent, you can take the sensor and then you can say, okay, is this bad or not bad?
the strips are currently being tested at MSU football spring practice. MSU athletic trainer Sally Nogel says she looks forward to the sensors being used beyond MSU.
I think in the future it's going to be really important for parents, when they don't have helmets with sensors and don't have mouth guards with sensors, that this could be a cheap way for them to monitor their children.
That's right.
Dantas and Blanchard are still testing and altering the headbands and hope to soon have them available for players to take from practice to the stadium. In East Lansing, Ariel Ellis, Focal Point News.
There is no official date for the release of the headbands, but when they are released, the professors plan to make the technology affordable to young athletes. Students got more than just a taste of the Middle East this week, as MSU's Arabic Cultural Society hosted the first annual Arab Awareness Week. Those attending the 3-day event were treated to Middle Eastern food and a panel of Arabic speakers. Organizers said the goal of the event was to highlight the role Arab Americans play in the U.S. while emphasizing the importance of retaining their heritage.
Israeli conflict, and so I really want people that come to take home with them that the Arab culture itself is beautiful and there's so much that we have contributed to the world.
Each day had a different theme, like Arab influences and the crisis in Syria. Batman vs. Superman was released to theaters on March 25th, and some in East Lansing might notice the familiar shots. Focal Point's Aaron Eschels takes a closer look at how Hollywood came to campus.
By day, it is an art museum, and most nights it is also an art museum.
except for when a major motion picture wants to come film there.
It was very fun to kind of see Zack Snyder and his production crew running around the Broad. It was kind of like kids in a candy store.
Kevin Epling is the manager of University Photo and Video and helps bring Batman vs. Superman to campus.
We had someone who was looking at the Broad Museum for a possible location for one of the Transformers movies, and then they ended up working on Batman Superman and showed the Broad to the production team and said, I think this is a building we need to go look at.
Epling says a lot of coordination took place starting in January 2014 until the filming on campus in October that year.
And they made a lot of physical changes to the exterior of the building to try and hide the fact that we were in East Lansing, Michigan.
Stephanie Cribbs is the director of facilities at the Broad Museum and was there for all the filming. She was excited to finally see the movie.
Almost everything that they did when they were here on site is represented, and the building looks great.
The production team set up fake bushes along Grand River and decorated the building for the actors' big entrance scene.
And it plays a vital role in the film. You know, when you have a building of that magnitude that houses a pivotal point in the movie where everybody meets for the first time.
You must be new.
That brings extra eyeballs, you know, to that scene.
With round-the-clock security, road closures, water, electricity, and the cost to rent out the Broad for a week, the university tells Warner Brothers was tagged with a bill for nearly $200,000.
Warner Brothers went away very, very happy. We went away happy, and now we get to be tied to this major motion picture.
Epling says it will be tough for MSU to get another movie of this size on campus, but there is always hope.
Right, they were talking about coming back, you know, for sequels. There's going to be sequels to this. We don't know.
But for now, MSU employees are still celebrating the almost 2-year-long endeavor that they said turned out to be a big success.
The Broad wasn't something they could recreate on a set.
Great collaboration, bringing some Hollywood to MSU.
In East Lansing, Aaron Eschels, Focal Point News.
The film grossed $166 million in North America its opening weekend, the 7th biggest opening of all time, just ahead of The Dark Knight Rises. And that's what's happening on campus. I'm Matt Miller. Ariel, Connor, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. When we return, students got their hands dirty during Greek Life's annual Day of Service.
Plus, MSU's Denzel Valentine and Coach Izzo have both received some of the highest honors in basketball. Stay tuned for more in sports.
Ever wonder where courage comes from? Where one finds the strength to believe in solutions that seem impossible? It takes a Spartan's will to understand that by working together we can solve the world's biggest problems, from renewable energy to fighting malaria. After all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
With this week's sports, I'm Aaron Eschels. What some have considered a long time coming, head coach Tom Izzo has finally been elected to the May Smith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. In 21 seasons as head coach, Izzo has taken his team to 19 consecutive NCAA tournaments and 7 Final Fours. He's also an 8-time National Coach of the Year and a 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. Senior forward Denzel Valentine also joins the elite, becoming the first Spartan AP Player of the Year. Altogether, he's earned 6 Player of the Year awards this season. He became the only player in NCAA history to average 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Both are high accomplishments for a sudden end to the season, but not everyone was able to sugarcoat the upset loss with awards. Following that heartbreak loss in the first round of the NCAA tournament, senior forward Matt Costello spoke to students on campus about dealing with the upset. Hosted by Spartan Christian Fellowship, Costello was able to speak about his close relationship with God and how his faith has helped him through these tough times. Along with some humorous Costello highlights and even some large giveaways, Costello and his Christian Fellowship really hoped the event would help others deepen their faith.
You just kind of wonder, like, your motivations for why you do certain things. Why do I invest all this time into basketball? And, you know, God kind of put me here to be a light to other people. And that's been my biggest motivation, and the thought process that has got me through those tough times.
A couple players have also decided this will be their last year with the program. Javon Bess and Marvin Clark Jr. announced they will transfer at the end of the semester. Both sophomores struggled with injuries while at MSU, and many are speculating the two were concerned about playing time next season. Neither have decided where they will wind up. Also leaving the program is women's basketball star Ariel Powers. The junior guard announced this week she will forgo her senior season and declare for the WNBA draft. In some cases, Powers is predicted as a top 5 pick. She's carried the team for the last 3 years, setting several MSU records.
I was in a good position either way. You know, if I stay here, you know, I've broken a lot of records here. I would just, you know, kind of push the records to a limit. And, you know, that wasn't such a big thing for me because this is what I want to do in my life, and this has always been my dream.
The draft is set for next Thursday, and Powers hopes to be the 6th Spartan to be selected. We had some bad weather this week, and because of all this snow and rain, the Lansing Lugnuts are now 2 games behind. The annual Crosstown Showdown against MSU baseball was canceled on Wednesday with no makeup game scheduled at this time. Their season home opener yesterday was snowed out, giving them a doubleheader tonight against the Great Lakes Loons in their newly renovated stadium. Within the last year and a half, the Lansing Lugnuts have completed nearly $25 million of upgrades. Their newest addition in the outfield apartments, which gives residents balcony views of the field. With funding from multiple sources, they were able to get all new seats, the Pepsi porch, a 360-degree concourse, a kids playground, a bar and grill, year-round meeting space, 3 new video boards, updated locker rooms, a new audio system, and finally the new Chevrolet Terrace, which was just announced yesterday. Earlier this year, the Lugnuts also created a Michigan Baseball Hall of Fame, which is now located in the center field at Cooley Law School Stadium. On June 25th, they will induct their next class for 2016.
Pretty much every area of this ballpark has been touched over the last year and a half and upgraded, everything with the fan experience in mind. So everything that we did, we really want to make sure that it was a great place to come, not only watch a ball game, but just have a night out with your family.
Gymnastics senior Lisa Burt has tumbled her way to the NCAA Women's Championship. Burt finished 4th in the all-around and 6th at regionals last weekend. She is the first Spartan to advance to nationals since 2010 and only the 11th individual to qualify. Fresh off a Big Ten title, the Michigan State Spartans took the field to begin spring practice. The Spartans are losing stars on both sides of the ball, with big names like Jack Conklin and Shalik Calhoun heading for the draft. However, the biggest question mark that will run all offseason is the quarterback battle between Damian Terry and Tyler O'Connor. One of the two will have some tough shoes to fill, taking over for the winningest quarterback in MSU history, Connor Cook.
Those guys do a really good job of helping each other. They know they're competing for the same spot, but I think there's a very good understanding of how much assistance they gave to Connor. So whoever is the starter, you know, is going to need those people in that role.
Fans will have the opportunity to see both quarterbacks compete on April 23rd during the annual Green and White game at Spartan Stadium. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Erin Eschels. Ariel, Connor, back to you.
Thanks, Erin. This week was Greek Week, a time when students in MSU's Greek life came together as a community.
And they started off with a day full of community service. Focal Point's Matt Miller has that story.
The calendar says it's the beginning of April, but try telling that to members of MSU's Greek community.
So it's kind of chilly out today, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's actually MSU's largest community service outreach ever.
Even if Mother Nature isn't cooperating.
You know, it's snowing out. It's pretty crappy outside today.
A little chilly.
Members of MSU's fraternities and sororities have spread out across area parks for a little spring cleaning.
It's part of our Greek Gives Back. It's all Greek Week. We're going to be doing stuff like this all week.
Even though it's below freezing and almost a snowstorm out here, this hasn't stopped the sisters of Alpha Chi Omega from helping out. But many of these girls also believe that they're helping to dispel myths about Greek life too.
I think it's great for us to shed light on just like a misconception of the Greek community.
All these invasive plants that grew in.
Just to show that we are very active in our community.
It also shows that they're willing to help make the community a little better, rain or shine, or even an April snow shower. In East Lansing, Matt Miller, Focal Point News.
Wow, great to see them out there toughing it out through the snow.
Yes, all for the community. And that's all for our show tonight. Thanks for watching.
We leave you now with more from Greek Week and the second place Songfest performance. Good night.